All right. It is game week this week. We had a week off last week. It was our bye week. I'm Jed Wonderly, by the way, with Noble Home Loans, and that's the sponsor of this video. And you are watching Utah Sports Report. That's the second week in a row I'm going with that name, so if anybody has any ideas on something maybe more cool, hip, whatever, feel free to put the suggestions down below. But okay, let's get talking about what's on tap for Utah. And it is USC. This game scares the living daylights out of me. I mean, I don't know how they even put a line on this thing in Vegas because, USC has lost pretty handily twice at home this year. Once to Stanford, I believe the score was 42-28, and the other time to Oregon State. Can't remember what that score was, 45-27 or something like that. So yeah, pretty handily. And that was only after Oregon State gave up, I think, a late touchdown or two in the fourth quarter. Game was already pretty much well in hand. So there are only 4 games in the Pac-12 this week, and of course the one that means the most to me is Utah against USC. We'll talk a little bit about some of the others in a bit, but why does this game scare me? Well, first of all, I have no idea who Utah is, how we're going to do. First of all, how are we going to do? We're dealing with the recent murder of Aaron Lowe. We're also still dealing with the accidental death of Ty Jordan. That's a lot to process for anybody, losing 2, family members, teammates, brothers, in 1 year, 9-month span, and they've lost 2. That's horrible. I mean, and especially when one of them just happened, how do you deal with that? How do they respond? How do they come out and play? I know that they've said they're dedicating the seasons to these guys, and they plan on honoring them by coming out and playing hard and perhaps getting a Pac-12 championship or whatever. That all sounds great, and I hope they do as a fan and just for them, because that would help them to get maybe not closure, but a little bit of resolution or something. So I have no idea how they're going to come out and actually play. And again, it will be interesting. I'm very interested to see how they do, not just because I'm a fan, but because it's to me, it's just interesting that these kids have gone through that kind of thing, and now are being asked to do what they, I don't want to say came to school to do, because they come to school to get their degree, but part of the reason why they chose this school is to play football here. So the spread is 3 points. And USC is favored, by the way, and it is at USC. We haven't beaten USC in like forever there, and I think we did beat them a long time ago, but I'm not sure it was actually at the Coliseum, but we beat them at their place, and like I said, it was ancient. Probably, I'm ancient, and I'm not even old enough to probably have been alive when we beat them last, but that's a whole other topic. So, the first thing that scares me, USC always has amazing receivers. They have big, strong receivers who are fast and great hands, and this year's no exception. They have Derek London, 6'5", 210 pounds. I think Travis Broughton, who is one of our best cornerbacks, is out for the year. So we've got nothing but freshmen and COVID freshmen on our team who we would expect to be starting in the secondary and mostly backing up as well. So I don't know, and they're all shorter by quite a bit. If Clark Phillips is listed at 5'10", I'm not sure he's that tall. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt for this argument. He's 5'10". Going up again, and he's like 195, I think. Kid is strong. He's jacked. If you ever seen his arms and his legs and everything, he's strong. But 195 at 5'10". Going up against 6'5", 210. So quite a bit of a size difference, and I think the other cornerbacks are all roughly, between 5'9" and 6 feet if we have one at 6 feet. Yeah, I don't know. So that will be interesting. It wouldn't be unreasonable to assume that USC is going to be throwing a lot of jump balls. Jump ball assumes that two people are going to be vying for it. And we know that it's not even going to be close. You throw it up high, Drake London goes and grabs it, and hopefully we're at least there to make a catch. My guess, or a tackle, my guess is that we are going to be using a lot of safety help from the back end. And I think that probably even not only just that, but we'll probably throw a few different looks at them to try to confuse them. I think we definitely need to get as much pressure on Keaton Slovis as we possibly can. Just if we can get him running around and out of his comfort zone, he probably won't be quite as accurate as he can be, and the kid can be pretty darn accurate. And 2, if we shorten the amount of time that he has for his receivers to run their routes, unless he's doing just a whole bunch of, unless their receivers are doing just a whole bunch of little quick hitters, then hopefully we can at least minimize the deep threat for most of the time. And hopefully our safeties don't get overzealous and come up and then let the receiver get behind them like they did the last time we played, where I can't remember the name of their receivers. I think all of them are in the NFL at this point, and they all scored long touchdowns against us. So we'll see. That's my first big fear. My second big fear is that their athletic defensive line is going to make our not so good offensive line look really not so good. Now, I look and I see, hey, Stanford, who wasn't supposed to be very good, beat them. Oregon State, who is still kind of in a rebuilding mode, but 4-1 and 2-0 in the pack, good for them. They beat them quite handily. So it's like, I don't even know what USC team shows up. Maybe we play highly inspired football on both sides of the ball and on special teams. And maybe USC kind of looks past us. I like I said, I'm highly curious. I'll know more at about 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, 9:30, somewhere in there. Maybe well before then. We'll see. But hopefully Utah can come together. Hopefully they can give our offensive line can give our receivers enough time to run their routes and give Cam Rising the kind of time he needs to survey the field and see which is the best option to throw to, and hopefully he's accurate. Hopefully we've cured our fumbleitis. Hopefully we can cause them to, have some turnovers. If we can have a defensive effort similar to what we did against Washington State, realizing that Washington State's personnel isn't nearly as talented from a physical standpoint as USC, then our defense should do fairly well. Again, getting pressure on the quarterback, hopefully creating a couple of 2-3 turnovers. USC has been very penalty prone. They've had 3 games, at least that I know of, where they were over 100 yards in penalties. Hopefully they don't suddenly clean that up against us, because that would really help us as well. And if we can minimize our penalties, I think we've been fairly decent. But if we could minimize our penalties, I think that would also be, I know that would also be a great thing for us. So with the point spread at 3, I am going to be the glass half full kind of guy, and I'm going to go with Utah pulling off the upset in a game decided by about maybe a touchdown. And I'm going to say that we don't have any fumbles, at least none that result in turnovers. We won't have any interceptions. We are going to have an efficient passing game. Hopefully we can have some chunk yardage plays both in the passing game and in the running game. And I'm going to say that Scally comes up with some defensive schemes that helps Utah to slow down the passing attack and the running game of USC. And with that, of course, I think on offense, we're going to probably, while I hope we have a nice balance between the pass and the run, I think in order to try to keep USC's offense off the field as much, we might also play ball control. So there is that. Hate that. Anyway, I'm going to say that we get the upset. I'm going to say we do it. Let's see. 31-24. I'll be surprised if we get 31, to be honest with you. But that sounds like a nice number, and so I'm going to go with that. Again, if I'm being honest, that's the fan in me talking. If I'm being honest, I'm going to say USC wins this. Either 31 or 35 to 17 or 21, somewhere in there. So maybe 31-21, 35-21, 31-17, 35-17, something like that. If we do lose, I hope it's closer. And I hope we win. But and I don't know if COVID is kind of partly responsible for why there are so many teams that are just up one week, down the next week, and all over the map. I don't know, but hopefully within a few more games we'll really get a better idea of who these teams really are. So Stanford is heading to Arizona State this week, and Arizona State is favored by 13 points. Arizona State went into UCLA last week and beat them up pretty good. 43 to, let's see what that was. I can't remember. 41-23 or something like that. 42-23. Okay, so they're hosting Stanford and favored by 13. They are back in the rankings. They're top 25 team, ranked number 22. I didn't see Arizona State being that good this year, especially with the coaching issues they were having. I'm going to go with, I've got to go with Arizona State at home. They've been playing well. I think they're going to do it. Utah against USC, Utah's going to pull it out, no question. Oregon State at Washington State. Now, Oregon State's only favored by 3.5. You know, we really should have beaten Washington State by a bunch more than we did. And Oregon State's offense, when I saw them against USC, they looked really good. I'm going with Oregon State by double digits at least. I know it's at Washington State, and I don't know if Borgie's back yet for Washington State. If he is, that will definitely help Washington State. But I see Oregon State winning that game first and foremost. I think they'll cover the spread. I just don't see Washington State playing Oregon State that close, especially if Oregon State plays anything like they did against USC. Finally, UCLA against Arizona. UCLA is favored by 16. Arizona has been in, quite a few of the games that they've lost. Like, even they were within one score of Oregon before Oregon. I can't remember if they had turnovers. I've watched a lot of that game, but Oregon turned it on at the end a little bit and won 41-19. But I really think that at some point in time this season, and I hope it's not against us, Arizona's going to have a breakthrough. They play hard. They play hard for their coach. But I think UCLA is going to be angry. They're going to come out and they're going to play like they just lost last week and they want to redeem themselves. And I think they do. Favored by 16 points. I think they have the offense to do that, and Arizona doesn't necessarily have the defense to stop them for a full 60 minutes. I don't know if they'll beat them by 16 at Arizona, although it's very possible. Oregon did beat them by 22 points at Arizona. So I'm going to go with UCLA covering the spread on that, although I won't be surprised if they don't. So that's my thoughts. Love to hear what your thoughts are. Feel free to comment in the comment section down below on what you think is going to happen this week, both with Utah versus USC as well as the Pac-12. And if you want to talk about any of the other games going on, like in the top 25 or whatever, that's great too. Feel free to let me know if you think my prediction for Utah USC is way out of line. I kind of made two predictions though, so got to specify which one, the fan one or the other one. And like and subscribe, and hopefully we can pull this one out, and it'll be a happy video next week. And with that, make it a great day and a better week. Bye.